Team New Kent, it is your Monday message. The Monday message is getting later in the day, and I don't get to wear the cool t-shirts as much anymore, but still, Monday message coming at you. I promised you last Monday that we would spend this Monday's message talking through the presentation from the work session. So that's going to be our focus, trying something new through WeVideo, always expanding my hybrid virtual teaching skills. So I'm sharing my screen with you and kind of walk you through. So really our reopening principles, we are paying attention to what is going on throughout the Commonwealth, but really focused on making the best decision for New Kent. You probably noticed last week we had two of our neighboring school divisions make completely opposite decisions. Hanover going all in, Richmond going all virtual. But here are our reopening principles, really trying to provide a safe learning and working environment for students and staff, making sure that our students receive instruction, supporting staff with professional learning, a lot more to do with professional learning, and really focusing on equity. So you can see our reopening principles. This is really what's guiding our work and what we shared with the board. Also looking at the guiding principles for risk. This is current from the CDC. Lowest risk, of course, would be virtual only. Highest risk would be full-size in person. We'll spend most of our time today in the moderate risk zone. Right now, we are piloting a number of programs. One, it helps us close gaps in learning, but also allows us to utilize some of those protocols. Our health screening protocols, our arrival protocols, dismissal, cleaning, and so forth, able to do that through the summer. So thank you for those that volunteered to work in the summer. We have a program of some sort in each one of our buildings. Quick slide just to show you the complexity. You may have to zoom in a little bit on this one. But is by far the most complex problem that we've faced so far. Lots of different pieces, and each one you pull on brings another one to the forefront. So really balancing all of these different components. One of the biggest issues that we have, no surprise to you because you're in our buildings every day, is capacity, specifically at the elementary. So what you see on the screen are the current capacity numbers, and you can see that on a normal day, that George Watkins and New Kent are over capacity, and New Kent Middle School continues to push at capacity. Where we have the most flexibility right now would be at the high school in terms of capacity. We did an internet access survey for families. One of the reasons that full virtual would be highly problematic is New Kent specific. Only 61% of our families have cable internet, and 66% have unlimited monthly internet. So to operate a full virtual program effectively, you would need cable internet so that you can stream videos without lagging. You can see from the survey, only 52% can stream multiple videos. So if you have multiple kids both trying to do virtual learning at the same time, that's a real problem in our community that we're working on in partnership with the county. So that's the internet access survey. Some additional survey feedback. Face-to-face hybrid versus virtual. Right now, 87% of our families would like to come back in some form. 13% would take part in a full virtual option. So that's where our numbers stack up. We also looked at transportation. 53% of our families needing transportation to and from, and then you can see the childcare needs as well. Almost 2,300 people responded to that survey. Next week, I'll bring you the results of some of our faculty surveys. We're expected to open in phase 3, although there has been talk about a move back to phase 2. So we need to prepare for both of those things. In phase 3, all students can receive in-person instruction. Large gatherings are limited to 250 people. On this reopening, we're looking at strategies for mitigating COVID-19 risks, plans for instruction, and we have to seek a number of waivers. One of the questions I've got from families most of the time is, will this be like what happened in March? And it won't. Attendance and grading will be required. Whether you're hybrid, in-person, virtual, you are doing new content and moving forward, which will be a big professional development need for us in the summer and then throughout the school year. Another factor that we're looking at is the spacing when it comes to COVID-19 and mitigating the risk. On the left-hand side of the screen, you can see 2 options for riding a school bus. One is socially distanced, so a bus of 56 kids goes down to 7. Really hard to transport in a county of 231 square miles, 7 kids on a bus. but with masks, we can move that capacity up to 28. So it does give us a little bit of flexibility. And you can see on the right-hand side of the screen, the different spacing options for classrooms and how that dramatically reduces the number of kids in a class. So those are driving factors in our plan. We want to educate students, but we also want to protect our staff, and it's a both and. We can educate our students and protect our staff. So really looking at that piece. Show you 3 quick plans. More information to come. Just wanted to update you on the school board work session. So there's the hybrid plan. The hybrid plan has a student working at home 50% of the time and in school 50% of the time. Daily health screenings, reduced bus capacity, and really combines face-to-face instruction with supplemental at-home activities. So you do have to shift the way you teach and the way you lead, because you would have students basically every other day. So what do you do in class, and then what do you assign when students aren't with you? Show you a couple of models in the instructional survey we sent out. We did have some models for you to look at. So this is the cohort AB model. Mondays on cohort A, Mondays and Wednesdays are in school. Tuesdays and Thursdays you work from home. And then the Friday alternates, whether you're in school or work from home. This maximizes student learning all 5 days. So another hybrid model is cohort AB with a planning day. This planning day could flex. It doesn't have to be on Friday as it's shown in the survey we sent out to staff. We had it on Wednesday, we had it on Monday, we had it all over the place. But in this format, same thing, kids go to school alternating days, and then 1 day of the week is for an at-home learning day for students and on-site faculty planning and development. There could be a third version of a hybrid that has both of these components. It just doesn't have the virtual every week on a Friday or a Monday or a Wednesday, that we build in those virtual days throughout the calendar for professional development for at-home learning. So lots of options. Virtual only, students will have this pathway. I do have some families that have reached out and said until there's a vaccine or I don't feel safe or comfortable that they'll have a virtual option. Really, students work independently. It does require that a student has access to internet resources. You will need reliable internet in the virtual only program. July 28th, we will have a second work session where we will show you the hybrid and the virtual in much more detail than I'm showing you right now. So this is just the big overview. All students return. It's what it sounds like, that students would return to school under a traditional schedule. Mitigating measures become more difficult as we reach full capacity. So students would have to wear face coverings. Desks include clear study carrels like this, plastic dividers potentially, and we'd work to minimize student transitions. So here are the reopening options. We have the virtual only. That would be highly considered in phase 1 or phase 2. So if we're in phase 1 or phase 2, pretty much we're almost all going to be virtual except for elementary students. Hybrid students alternating, that is what we're recommending right now in phase 3, but we're still working through some questions and guidelines. And then the regular school kids go all day really is recommended for that beyond phase 3 approach. So just wanted to bring you up to date on those 3 pieces. We worked with the board last week. We have another board work session on the 28th. We'll continue to work with you and your schools to make sure that we make the safest, smartest decision moving forward. And we're going to have to be flexible. This could be a year that we start one way, but as the phases in Virginia shift, we have to shift that. So we could start hybrid, and then second semester maybe we're a regular school. Or we could start hybrid, and then we end up being virtual. We're really going to let the data and the health department partner with us on those decisions, and also the state of Virginia, the governor, and the Virginia Department of Education. So not quite the inspirational Monday message you typically get, but hopefully that was informative. Keep your questions coming. We'll continue to work with you throughout this evolving work that we have to do. So just remember, as I was reminded today, that when nothing is certain, anything's possible. We've got this. Tough times don't last, but you know what does? Tough teams. And New Kent Strong, Team New Kent, is the toughest team I know. Hope you have a great week. Keep updating you as we move forward. Next week, update from the faculty survey and start to bring in some more detail for the virtual and hybrid pieces. Have a great week. Thank you for what you do. You rock.